Hey guys, so I was finally able to pinpoint what has actually been going on with Ukraine and why Trump is in such big, really deep trouble with Ukraine right now. What he did was, it's something you should never do. I've never heard of it before, and it's not something you would do because you don't know who's on the other side of it. What I'm talking about is what Trump did by targeting Zelensky and which created civil unrest between the GOP and the Ukrainian people. He created a situation where he introduced Western influence into Kyiv and its government, and that's something that violates Putin's concept of Western influence inside of Kiev, and it's going into Russia. That's the main that's what it ties into, but that's not the biggest problem. This was unknown to him, and apparently no one told him that what he did was had serious consequences if they were ever done. Obviously, the CIA didn't give him this information. Now, I don't know if Putin wanted him to do this, but it did create a situation. And it's actually a coup that he performed. He infiltrated Kyiv. It's a I haven't heard of it before. ChatGPT actually told me about it. I Googled it, and Google doesn't show anything about this. But what he did was he created a coup unknowingly against Ukraine. And this has created a serious problem. Think of it like this. You know how when you talk about Trump and all this, Trump would say it's fake news? All right. Imagine if a foreign government does that to another foreign government. That would be political. That would be a political coup. You're trying to use your influence to sway the opinion of a foreign country. You don't do this. Apparently, Trump never got that memo, but what they call it is an ideological coup. Can you? And I'm going to have ChatGPT explain it. Coup to an average person. I've never heard of this. I've only seen coups involve military. That's what most Americans think. Yeah, military takeovers, soldiers storming government buildings, leaders being arrested, or violent uprising. That's a physical coup. But a coup doesn't always need guns, tanks, or riots. An ideological coup is when a foreign leader or government uses influence, propaganda, or manipulation to turn the people of another country against their own government without firing a single shot. That's what Trump has done. Instead of military force spreading lies or misleading about the government or its leaders, which is what Trump did with Zelensky, using media and police to make people. That's what Trump did. So that's what Trump did. Starting opposition groups, funding protests, or interfering in elections to create instability. He hasn't done that, but these other three are more important than that. So he didn't. If he had any knowledge or intention of doing this, he would be creating these opposition groups. But he's unknowingly doing this, and it has created a situation where in this particular case, Putin can use it against him because it goes in that Western influence is in Kyiv now. Imagine if another country said your president is corrupt, weak, or illegitimate, then they pay for news outlets, social media accounts to repeat that message constantly. Fund protests, tell people that would be better off under foreign influence. what this has also done, there are certain, when you do one of these, ideological coup, you don't know who's on the other side of it. You don't know, because they can play that same game against you. And you don't know who's on the other side. Putin's on the other side of this. But who are the other players who's going to fight against you in the same way? An ideological coup. So they can attack the president of this country, the United States, Trump. And you can use the ideological coup would directly target the Republican Party. That would be your audience, your target base. So that's why he's in very big trouble for this, even though they're not talking about it, because Western media, we've never seen this before, and you wouldn't do this because you don't know who's on the other side. You have to be really smart and intelligent about the other side, and you got to have some benefit it gives you to pull this off. Trump was reckless with this. He had no idea that, and also this is why Trump's actually considered ideological coup against Ukraine. Instead of helping country the U.S. once supported, which some of them still do, he made moves that actively undermine its government, and that's a direct hit on Ukraine's independence. They're going to burn you for this. And the ideological coup is just as dangerous as a military one because it removes power without needing an invasion. That's why Ukraine has every right to strike back. And it won't be... Ukraine doesn't have the influence right now to do it. They don't have the people. But there are people in... Putin can use leverage with the people who can and continue to hide them, to cover them up, and do this against Trump. And that's why you don't do that. You might get away, you could do that with Israel, you could do it probably with the United States, because what would we do if you did that? But if you do that to a foreign country like Eastern Europe, that's some serious stuff right there. You don't play that game. They don't play that game there. Imagine doing that to Russia, right? Think about doing that to Russia. Dude, they'll come back harder. They come back hard if you try to do that. They don't play that game. I prefer it not doing the searching the web. I like it to figure it on its own. I like it to... Why did it stop? What just happened? Of course it does that as I'm... Okay, here. It wrote it, just didn't print it. Okay. You're going to Ukraine, both domestically and internationally. He's going to be on his own on this one. Trump, when you do something like this, you're on your own. Labeling him a dictator, that stuff might be true, but you don't say that on a public stage like that. If initiating conflict with Russia, again, you're undermining who they are as a country. Just because Russia agrees with that doesn't mean that you should say that. Right? Am I making sense here? Is this connecting in any way? Proceed as undermining a sovereign nation's government. Until political concessions making unfounded public allegations could be construed as an ideological coup. This term refers to efforts by a foreign entity to destabilize or influence another nation's government through non-military means. Now, you may not have been trying to destabilize, but you have created a situation that they can't get out of, and Putin speaks tomorrow in an announcement, and we're expecting him to bring this up. And if he understands it, then Trump is finished. This is the problem here. And such action may lead to legal challenges, impeachment inquiries. Yeah, because when you do this, it brings Russia and Ukraine together, which is against U.S. interest, and it would create a civil war, and it would get big. Trump would be impeached for this. This is impeachable. This isn't just, you don't like the president. This is actual seriousness right here. You don't do this as they conflict with international norms and principles of national sovereignty. Right. And it's not really about Europe. It's about what he did. Right. So I hope that you understand that, and I want you to think about that, because this is how you destroy a country from within, by doing this right here. It was reckless on Trump. Apparently no one told him, but ignorance is not an excuse for these things. You can't just say, "Oh, sorry." It's bad. It's really serious. So you can, like I said, I haven't see coup d'etat, the sudden violent overthrow of an existing government group. See, they're talking about the military was, yeah, they're talking about the military and all this right here. Officially alteration of existing government by a small group. Yeah, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be nationwide, a huge group. And yeah, you want to play that game? We ain't going to win. So I'm about to run out of time here, but I'll see you guys later.